Shopify, it makes it quite easy. I can actually go into the back end and, upload data or change information on the website without having to know how to write code.
You mentioned about 80% of your customers are repeat customers, which is great. Tell me about how you've unlocked that code.
I don't have any special tricks or anything like that, but I think people see the value in the product.
What advice do you have for entrepreneurs who are really betting on this idea that they want to launch a business?
I think...
Welcome to today's episode on our podcast. Here today, we've got a very exciting guest, Uncle Mike, who runs Uncle Mike's Naturals. And would love to know a little bit more about how you've launched your business and also your background. Uncle Mike, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. Howdy. Thanks so much, Monib. Yes, I'm Uncle Mike from Uncle Mike's All Natural Products. Basically started making my own natural products after I found or wasn't able to find products in the store that I thought were truly all natural and that actually worked. So it came just out of the need for myself and my family. Again, wanting something more natural than what I was able to find in stores and products that actually worked.
So what is it that you focus on? I mean, you've got beard oils and you've got beard grooming equipment, or what is it that is your focus?
For sure. So for me, I mean, I'm kind of a low maintenance guy. So when I first started out, it was basically just to replace products that I was currently using, but ranging from beard oils and aftershaves, shaving soap, deodorant, hand and body soaps, salves, and moisturizers, and again, just trying to make them the most natural way possible with cold pressed vegetable oils and steam distilled essential oils, and having them actually work. That was my biggest thing. When I first started this, there was never an intent to actually make a business out of it. So I wanted value in the products because they were for myself and for my family. So they needed to work and they needed to be truly all natural.
And what is this, because of this drive that you wanted to grow your beard, or what was the plan?
No, not really. It was just out of, I guess, out of desire when other people were requesting, products from me, friends and family. As I was developing these products, you go through a dozen different renditions, different mix designs of the products to try to get the scents right, to try to get the consistency right, and was giving away these samples to friends and family, and they kind of prompted me to start selling them. And it was when I started doing a few festivals around town that people that weren't my friends and family kind of had the same reaction, that they were pretty impressed with them. They had stopped using kind of products that they were buying at the store. And when I kind of got that, inspiration or that, that positive reaction from people, then it was like, well, maybe I can just recreate everything in my medicine cabinet, not just a handful of products. So it really started out, actually, my healing salve was the first product I ever developed. I was initially doing a lot of climbing, rock climbing, and was using a product that seemed to work, but I honestly thought I could do something better.
Right.
And so I looked at the ingredients on the back of the package that I was using and took an old beeswax candle and shaved it down and some olive oil from the cupboard and made a very basic salve to kind of replicate what I was buying. And then once I had done that, I kind of started doing a lot more research and trying to find ingredients that were more specific to my needs. And through some research on nutrient properties of vegetable oils and therapeutic properties of essential oils, was able to develop a salve that I felt was even better than what I was buying. And like I said, giving away, samples to friends and family during that whole process, they had stopped using, cortisone creams or different moisturizers that they had bought. And then it was like, wow, I made something that I felt was better than what I was even buying. So what else could I make? And then it was deodorant, and actually at the time I was still shaving, so it was an aftershave and a shave soap. And then shortly after that, I started growing the beard, and then it was the beard balm and the beard oil and kind of all the other things that come along with that.
So would you classify yourself as an accidental entrepreneur, or?
You might say that, yes.
Oh, yeah?
I think so. Again, there was never a real intent to start a business. It was after I was kind of already developing the products that I thought, like, maybe I could actually make a go of this, And again, with reactions from other people kind of encouraging me. And that was kind of the push, I guess, I needed to start the business.
Got it. And you started this, I think, about 15 years ago?
Yes, it was about 2009 when I actually first started selling products. I had been doing it for about 2 or 3 years prior to that, just for myself and my family, and kind of developing the products and getting a line of products as opposed to just a few products. But that's kind of when I officially became a business, I guess.
Got it. So how do you promote? I mean, you mentioned that you were at the Folk Fest, was it? Or
Fringe Festival.
The Fringe Festival.
Yes,
That's right. Yes, yeah. So at the Fringe Festival, I mean, you obviously found it was kind of like a focus group over there too, where you had a lot of people say good things about the product that you had, and which inspired you to start this business. Do you still go to some of these festivals, or how do you promote your business?
I don't do as many pop-ups and festivals as I once did. I would actually like to kind of get a little more back into them. But a lot of social media. I've done different radio and different podcasts kind of throughout the years. But yeah, I mean the bulk of advertising or promoting is through Google AdWords and social media, really.
Right, and your website being on a Shopify platform, how has it been? Has it been challenging to launch the website on a Shopify platform? What are the things that you've actually learned, and what advice can you give to other entrepreneurs that would like to launch a Shopify website?
I mean, I think Shopify is nice, especially when you're starting out. They do have a lot of different plugins, a lot of apps available. It makes it quite easy from my perspective, which is not a tech background, but I can actually go into the back end and upload data or change information on the website without having to know how to write code, kind of thing. Their customer service is quite nice. The fact that they have payment integration already part of it, you're not bringing in a different payment processor, because I know sometimes that can cause a lot of headaches. So, and really, I think when I started with Shopify, I was on a free plan or a very inexpensive plan. So it kind of takes that cost of entry down a little bit. Obviously, they do take a percentage of your sales. So it's kind of constantly trying to weigh, is that worth it?
Right.
But I think the ease of integrations, whether it's payment capturing or shipping or things like that, make it a little easier.
Well, I know, I mean, during COVID and pandemic that happened here, a lot of businesses, they suffered because they didn't really have an online presence, especially an online presence that allows them to generate revenue. And e-commerce was a way out, to help the businesses survive and to continue doing business. And we saw the surge of e-commerce stores online during the pandemic, and we still see that behavior, consistent with a lot of users online. They now are programmed to just go online to the website and shop from there. What kind of trend did you notice in your business during the pandemic, and has it been positive or negative?
Yeah, strangely enough, we saw more traffic on the website kind of during that time. I think we'd already been running the website for quite a few years prior to that, but definitely saw an uptick in traffic. And I think again, people were kind of stuck in their homes, not being able to get out and shop per se. So I think a lot more people became comfortable with shopping online,
True.
Which obviously strengthened, the website presence. Yeah, I think it was beneficial. I also feel that it it kind of brought maybe a lot more competition into the space as well.
True.
Either new companies that were starting out or maybe companies that didn't have an online presence previously. So it's kind of been, constantly trying to navigate how to keep going on that.
True. I mean, online, your competition is just a click away, right? So it's very challenging to continue to build a brand, and with your product, many may not be familiar of how unique it is and what effort you put into, creating the right kind of product for your customers. How do you convey that message? How do you actually bring in new customers that may not have experienced your product before, but, they're wanting something new and different that can help them?
So I think that's the beauty, I guess, of social media is that, really trying to bring those customers into the, behind the scenes or to see kind of how products are made or tell the story. But again, a constant, kind of constant battle to try to, get in front of other businesses that are trying to do the same thing. Again, I try to strengthen the idea that I'm just a normal guy. I don't have a team of scientists or a team of marketers behind me. It's just one guy trying to do something that I feel is better than what a lot of the other companies are doing, because when I developed these products, they were developed for myself and my family, not, to try to make a product that would just make me a bunch of money.
Right. So that story is very important, and I think that's what also makes your business very unique, because you've kind of became an accidental entrepreneur because you were developing these products and they worked really well for you and your family and friends, and now you wanted to give it to the world. You wanted to have others experience the benefits. What is it that makes your product so unique?
So again, I think kind of coming right to the ingredients.
Yeah.
We're not trying to sugarcoat things. We're not trying to greenwash things. I found the best ingredients for the certain products that I developed. And so again, cold pressed vegetable oils, vegetable waxes, therapeutic grade essential oils. So no fragrance oils, no synthetic colors. All of our coloring and exfoliants in our soaps are all herbs, spices, and clays. And again, in a lot of body care and cosmetics, people are still using synthetic fragrance oils, which are basically just chemically developed smells meant to smell like something. Whereas when you smell lemon in our products, it's coming from steam distilled lemon peels or steam distilled peppermint leaves. So what you're smelling is the true product or the true smell, not a synthesized chemical based smell.
Right. Companies would argue that they have to scale their products, and because of that, they have to synthesize certain things and use artificial elements in the product. You've gone the other way, right? You still make your own product. You still ensure the quality of the product is top notch when it comes to making sure that it's delivering what it's supposed to deliver, and the experience and the smells and the feel. So, do you think that's a scalable? Like, how do you intend to scale your business, or what's the vision of the business?
That's kind of constantly on my mind.
Yeah.
But I think what I did actually early on, maybe even prematurely, but I invested in some equipment which allowed me to, batch in larger quantities, and still being, relatively solo on the production side of things. That was important to me because I couldn't be tied up with kind of constantly in production. But if I could, double or triple or 10 times my production. So I'm maybe spending a little bit more time initially for production, but I'm making 10 times the amount of product. That allowed me to free up some time to obviously then work on the business and marketing and things like that. So, and one thing I really find, like we look at, 80% of our customer base is recurring customers. So I think people see the value in it once they try it. And they, they basically see the same things that I was finding when I started actually making the product, right? It is, natural products are obviously going to be a little bit higher of a price tag compared to, other non-natural products. But I feel you get that out in the product, right? I mean, just the cost of entry is higher because ingredients cost more. They're not a synthesized product or ingredient. But I feel you get what you pay for in when you see a lotion on the shelf. A lotion is actually a very small amount of moisturizer or oil, large amounts of water, and then synthetic emulsifiers and preservatives, because now you have water in that product. When you look at our products, you're getting 100% of the moisturizing properties or the therapeutic properties within that product itself. So a little will go a long way, when, maybe in a lotion you're using a teaspoon size amount, whereas with our products you're using 1/8 of a teaspoon to get the same moisturizing properties from.
Interesting. You mentioned a very important point, and I think I want to kind of dive deeper into that, is repeat customers.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned about 80% of your customers are repeat customers, which is great because, most businesses, the greatest cost that they have is the customer acquisition cost, which is the initial transaction that happens with the customer to bring them into your store or on your website and have them make a purchase. But to keep them there and have them continue to purchase from you over time is very challenging for many businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about how you've unlocked that code of making sure that you continue to get this repeat business from your customers.
I don't think, I don't have any special tricks or anything like that, but I think people see the value, again, in the product. Once they try the product, I'm not trying to sugarcoat things. I think obviously customer service is very important because I treat customers how I would expect or would want to be treated as a customer. So I think that's very important. And then I think, like I said, people see the value in the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're getting what they pay for, and I think that keeps them coming back. Our deodorant is our best-selling product. I think people realize that it's a truly all-natural deodorant, and it actually works. So when they find something they like, they stick with it. One thing we've implemented the last couple of years is a subscription platform. So we do offer subscriptions on the website where when you sign up for a subscription, you save money in buying the subscription as a reoccurring subscription. But that also means you're not going to run out of it. It's going to be stuck there. I get countless messages, again, specifically about our deodorant. People very excited to find a deodorant that actually works and begging me never to stop making it or never change it. So happy when it's restocked at a retailer because they were out of it and they had maybe gone to something else when they couldn't find mine. And we're just not happy with what else they were able to find. So that makes it, makes me feel good, I guess. And makes me want to keep doing it,
Right. Well, I had the privilege of using your beard oils, right? Mm-hmm. Because I've been trying to grow my beard, and it's been a challenge. But what advice do you have for having a healthy beard?
Well, it's funny because when I started growing a beard, I was actually I was making products, but I was still working construction at the time, and so we came into winter, and it was an effective way to keep my face a little bit warmer. But again, being a pretty low maintenance guy, I didn't want to shave anymore. And I thought, a beard will alleviate the fact of obviously shaving, keep my face a little warmer. And I kind of grew it out initially, and then I was trimming it and changing it, and I could never really get it to where I wanted. And so I eventually just stopped doing anything to it. And then once it kind of filled out, then I felt it was kind of developing the shape or the thickness that I wanted. It was then actually that I started developing the beard oil and the beard balm, because as it got longer and was kind of maybe exposed to a little harsher conditions, I felt I wanted to soften it up. My kids, when they were younger, I would hold them close and They would kind of shy away from it. And actually, once I started putting product into it, they would snuggle up into it because it would be softer. Moisturizing the skin underneath and the hair itself helps it lay a little bit flatter. It doesn't get all frizzy and out of control. But just like your hair, you wash your beard, get the daily dirt out of it, and then replenish the moisture back into it.
Got it. So, considering that you started your online business and also you have like a store here that you're there as well, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs who are really budding on this idea that they want to launch a business because they're so good at and passionate about maybe a certain aspect or a product or a service? What advice do you have for them, as an entrepreneur?
I think, I've seen a lot of businesses kind of come and go over the last 15 years. Yeah. And a lot of them seem to be, some are still around, some are gone. A lot of them seem to be kind of a flash in the pan. They come out really great with a really maybe good marketing strategy or catchy advertising, but I think they've maybe not put as much effort into what I think is the crucial thing, and that's the product itself. So I think spend more time than you think on developing a really good product, because that's essentially what's going to have your name on it. And don't grow too quickly. Sometimes we can get a little bit ahead of ourselves, and that's when the product can start to fail a little bit. And I think kind of grow into your
passion.
Into your passion. Yeah, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to come out of the gates at 100 miles an hour.
Right.
You can kind of start small and grow up to something bigger.
So, hindsight is 2020. If you were to go back 10 years, what advice would you give to the younger Uncle Mike?
That is a good question. I think, don't sweat the small stuff would be pretty important. I think as I do have some help in the shop, but as a more or less solo in the shop a lot of times, again, when it comes to production, you take everything to heart. So, a lot of good comments, but, you'll get the odd one where, and a lot of times it's something to do with shipping or something like that, which is a lot of times out of my control. But it's those ones that you really take to heart, and I find, kind of hit you the hardest. And so you can't please everyone. You will never please everyone. That being said, also do the business for yourself. If you're doing it for somebody else, you're not going to keep your drive or keep your passion in it. You need to want to do it. And I find when you maybe start changing or trying to adapt for, 100% of the population or for that one squeaky wheel, that's when it either becomes not fun anymore, or the product starts to suffer, or the business will start to suffer as well.
So, as far as future is concerned, what does that vision look like? What is the big vision for?
I think just kind of continuing to make products that people love. And, as things have gotten busy over the years, I haven't been able to be on the development side of things, just because I get caught up in producing the products that we're currently selling. So I would like to kind of introduce a few new products that I've maybe had on the back burner for a little while, as well as maybe getting rid of some products that maybe aren't doing as well. And kind of continue to grow into our new space. I guess it'll be 3 years coming up in March, where we tripled our production capacity. So it's still kind of I feel we're still kind of in a growth phase into that space. So it's definitely gives us a lot more room to kind of grow into. locked down a few kind of larger clients. We do have, obviously the online, the in-store, and the wholesale. We also have kind of a commercial side of things where we sell our foaming hand soap to different businesses and restaurants. So that's something that I would like to do more of. Not only, are we moving product through that avenue, but also it's great exposure for that product when it ends up, in the bathroom or the kitchen sink at different, like I said, different restaurants, different businesses. Your favorite bar has it in the bathroom. That's kind of been a neat kind of different avenue that we started about 6 years ago maybe. So and kind of continued to grow the online. Something I would like to do more of is kind of bring people more into the behind the scenes. I think people are really intrigued or interested as to how I make things or how I develop products. So I think kind of highlighting that a little bit more, which is something I really like to share with people anyway. Sometimes it's just tricky to, get the logistics down of either capturing it in the moment or getting it onto a platform where people can actually see it.
Interesting. So, I believe education is the best form of marketing, and by creating content and letting people into behind the scenes so that they can kind of experience how you create the product and the attention to detail that you have when you're creating the product really goes a long way to establish rapport with your customers. So it's a great strategy. It's been proven to work very effectively, and I think you should definitely go for that.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's, sometimes, especially with kind of online, is people can, they don't really know. A lot of times, new customers think I'm some large manufacturing facility with hundreds of employees. And then on the flip side, some people, still think I'm making products in my basement. It's kind of, so to be able to show people and kind of explain that I'm just a guy making products for you, my customers, kind of thing. And it's a lot of times it's me behind answering your emails or answering your questions. It's I'm not a dog and pony show kind of thing, trying to trick you into buying something. I want you to buy it, try it, and hopefully like it, and continue on this journey with me.
Excellent. Well, Uncle Mike, it's been a pleasure to learn more about your business and your backstory. Where can people learn more about yourself and your business?
So you can check out our website at unclemikesnatural.com, as well as all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. I think, we're on them all. We're kind of more active on some more than others. But hopefully, kind of with some new content coming forward, you'll be able to find, a little bit more about me, the business, and our story.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, and I wish you the best.
Yeah, thanks so much, Moniv.
Thanks for listening to Sask Entrepreneurs. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a spark of inspiration. To catch more stories and lessons learned from Saskatchewan's business leaders, visit SaskEntrepreneurs.com. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and keep Saskatchewan strong. Ciao.